build on foundations already placed, a chance for redemption or the opportunity for extension. The new calendar year stretched out like a blank canvas full of possibilities, just waiting to be filled with the words and deeds of the courageous. For A-League footballers though, there's barely time to take stock as matches come thick and fast. Past victories or defeats need to be quickly put in the rearview mirror, and the task at hand is really the only thing that matters. A very happy new year and a warm welcome on a humid afternoon to Go Media Stadium in Auckland for round 11 action in the Isuzu UTE League. It's Auckland FC hosting the Newcastle Jets live here on Sky Sport. It's Hawaiian shirt day in the port, and many have taken the opportunity to dig in the back of the wardrobe for things seldom worn, apart from days like today, as the two teams emerge from the shadows of the tunnel and out onto Go Media Stadium. Jacob Spoonley alongside in commentary. Happy New Year to you, Jacob. Who begins 2026 the stronger?
Well, it's all about resolutions at the moment, isn't it, Piney? But as you said, redemption is on the cards, and revenge has been well advertised by Auckland. They were embarrassed here last time these two sides met, and they have Newcastle Jets squarely in the crosshairs. To be honest, this one's volatile. I'm not sure which way it's going to go.
One thing we can reassure you of is that the biblical rain that set in the last time Newcastle were here is nowhere near the forecast. No rain at all, actually, in the forecast today. Very warm afternoon as the two teams complete their pre-game formalities and get set to do battle. Auckland FC haven't played a game for nearly a fortnight. Steve Corica makes two changes to the side that started the 2-0 win over Western Sydney on the 19th of December. In Portuguese, Jermo Mai and Felipe Gallegos come in for Jake Brimmer, who drops out of the matchday squad with a hamstring injury, and Logan Rogerson, who joins the reserves. Lachlan Brook reverts to a wide attacking position. Vout, Verstrata, De Vries and Girdwood Reich have played every minute of the season so far. Mark Milligan makes two changes to his starting 11 after the action-packed 5-4 home loss to Macarthur on Boxing Day. Max Burgess returns after missing the last two games with a groin strain. Kiwi Olympian Lachlan Bayliss earns just a third start of the season. Will Dobson drops down to the bench, and Richard Nkomo, who debuted last weekend, has not travelled to New Zealand. Auckland FC skipper Hiroki Sakai continues his reintegration into the side via the bench alongside four current All Whites: Sale, Pinnaker, Howison and Rogerson. Xavier Bertoncello has scored off the Jets bench in each of the last two matches. Imports Joe Shaughnessy and Kota Mitsunuma also in reserve for Mark Milligan. Steve Corica was laid low with a bout of the flu over Christmas, which left him bedridden and unable to oversee the team's training sessions at the front end of the week. Thankfully, he's recovered sufficiently to take his place in the dugout today. Mark Milligan brings Newcastle to New Zealand for the third time in 5 weeks after victories over Auckland FC in round 6 and the Phoenix in round 8. It's the first time the Jets have ever won consecutive matches in New Zealand. Daniel Elder is on the whistle today, assisted by Isaac Trevis and Matthew McCorist. Kelvin Berg is our fourth official. Sam Kelly standing by and VAR if required, helped out today by Sean Evans. The two number 9 set to be pivotal today. Lachlan Rose scored the winner last time Newcastle were here just over a month ago and has scored on both of his visits to New Zealand this season. He was also on target in the Jets' 3-1 win over Wellington in round 8. And Sam Cosgrove is Auckland FC's top scorer with 4. He also has 3 assists and has been directly involved in the goal in each of his last 4 A-League men's games. Some would say his assist in the last game should have actually been his goal. Instead, Jesse Randall got the credit, even though he was lying flat on the ground at the time. We're underway on New Year's Day. Auckland FC in blue and black, kicking from right to left in the first half. Newcastle in the white and tan kit, attacking the goal to the right of your screen. A victory today would be Auckland FC's 4th on the bounce, equalling their best ever winning run, but Newcastle were the last team to beat them. 2-1 on this very patch of grass albeit in slightly different weather conditions, at the back end of November. Second time Auckland FC have hosted a match on New Year's Day. A year ago, they played out a 0-0 draw with Melbourne victory here. When Newcastle are involved, goalless draws seem unlikely. Jacob.
Sparingly with that result, but let's acknowledge the conditions, this time of a different kind here in 2026. It's very summery in Auckland and the heat is being trapped by some unwanted humidity. Cloud cover around Tamaki Makaurau. It's going to make for very sapping conditions for these players to try and navigate.
Yeah, the players and the majority of the crowd bathed in sunshine at the start of January. We welcome you in on both sides of the Tasman, in particular Jets fans at Modus Merewether, the official watch party. Modus Brewing, a long-time sponsor of the Jets. Good to have you joining our coverage on New Year's Day. A good pocket of Newcastle fans have made the trip as well. Spent last night bringing in the new year in Auckland, and here for New Year's Day football today. Early chance for Francis de Vries to wind up a long throw. Daniel Elder wants him right next to the corner flag. Family zone in the background as de Vries winds up and towards Cosgrove, but James Delianov at the first time of asking. A good confidence-boosting claim from the Jets custodian. And off they go down the other end. And Clayton Taylor herring after that one. Newcastle are the A-League men's fast starters. 5 goals in the first 15 minutes of matches this season, including Will Dobson's 3rd-minute goal when Newcastle were here in round 6. Interesting to see how Newcastle line up. No Daniel Wilmering today. The graphic we were handed had a back 3. We'll get to keep an eye on that, Jacob, to see who slots in on the left side of the defence when they're out of possession. They're in possession at the moment, though, and looking to set things up. Battolato and Elliott together, and Alex Battolato goes down clutching a knee. Right in front of the port, the ball. I'm sure Newcastle will put this out so that their teammate can receive attention. He's still lying prone in the penalty area. They don't seem to know Newcastle. They worked it out, now they have. As the ball is rolled into touch and Alex Battolato can get some attention.
As Lockie Rose trots down to see how the number 19 is faring. It looked to be, on first glance, an impeccably timed challenge from Callan Elliott. You can see there, he gets a big left toe on the boot in front of the 4-time goal scorer, but then it's the buckling of the right knee. And immediately Battolato grasps the knee, rolls around in pain, and he still hasn't moved.
This would be a big blow for Mark Milligan. Alex Battolato has played all but 7 minutes of the season so far. A hat-trick early on. And perhaps, like for like, Will Dobson, who's dropped out of the starting 11 today, might be the man who's called upon to play the better part of this game. As you say, Jacob, it was Callan Elliott's challenge, which was fair and above board, but it was just the awkward landing from Alex Battolato, and he's being helped to his feet. I'm not sure that Alex Battolato is going to play any further part in this game. He's testing the weight on that right knee. Very ginger.
With the support of the physio and the doctor. And Alex Battolato cannot put much weight on that right knee. Just have a look at the way the Jets went coast to coast almost. It's a wonderful claim from Delianov. He's under huge pressure with Cosgrove there. And then Clayton Taylor tests the lungs of Callan Elliott. Been a busy man. He's got the shadow of Hiroki Sakai being cast over him at the moment. The captain looking to return.
So Alex Battolato, what a sad sight to see him exiting so early. One of the young guns in this Newcastle side, just 20, going to be replaced by a player 2 years his junior, Will Dobson, the 18-year-old who scored as I mentioned, in the 3rd minute here when Newcastle arrived or visited in the back end of November. He will play the majority of the game.
In place of one of the A-League starlets, a man that lit up the competition in the first couple of rounds. A hat-trick, and then added to that 4 goals so far this season, Alex Badalato.
Some defending for Francis de Vries to do. He's wearing the captain's armband today, Francis de Vries, in the absence of Jake Brimmer. That looked like a hand from Louis Estrada. So Jake Brimmer out with a hamstring injury, which is set to keep him sidelined for at least 2 matches. Hiroki Sakai, the club captain, is on the bench, but Francis de Vries with the armband today. Alex Badalato is making his way past the Auckland bench now. You can only hope it's nothing too serious. Obviously serious enough to have him exit this game in the very early stages. Here's Taylor into the area, dangerous! Lockie Rose left all alone in the 6-yard area, and the fast-starting Jets are at it again. And Lachlan Rose in the 7th minute puts the Jets into a 1-0 lead.
Well, they did it last time out, and they've repeated the dose. Lockie Rose at the near post puts that one behind Michael Vout before he could react. And that is 7 goals now for the Jets in the first 30 minutes. I believe that's 6 in the first 15. They get out the gate so quickly, and it's the pace that's disrupted Auckland. It did last time. They haven't been able to settle, and it's all because of the way the Jets have approached this match.
Well, Lachlan Rose joins the recently departed Alex Badalato on 4 goals for the season. That's twice at this ground. At that end, he has scored past Michael Vout, and we said the 9s would be crucial. 21st in his career for Lachlan Rose, and just such fast starters. Auckland FC were pre-warned. Everybody knows how fast they start, and free kick coming the way of the Jets.
And it wasn't tape, Piney, it was experience. Last time the Jets started even faster, but let's have a look. It's the work of Clayton Taylor. He's been so industrious since he's returned to the starting 11. That time, beyond Elliott, across the near post, and Lockie Rose, right place, right time. Unimposed as he guided that one beyond Michael Vout.
A long way to go for Newcastle. They've lost 3 of the 7 games in which they've gone 1-0 up. But what about this for a stat? Auckland FC have never won a game in which they've conceded the first goal. It's happened 8 times for 3 draws and 5 defeats. They have never won a game from 1-0 down.
What's really interesting in these initial exchanges is how often Auckland are facing their own goal. Very rarely does that occur, but the Newcastle Jets have done it in the initial 90 minutes, and they are repeating here. Rose, Adams, Taylor, all breaking in behind, and it's really upsettled what is a very certain backline for Auckland.
Again, they'll attack down the left. Max Burgess, who limped off in the win over Wellington a couple of weeks ago with what he told me pre-game was just a little groin strain. He's fine to go. Also told me Max Burgess last night was the first time he can remember he didn't get to midnight on New Year's Eve. He said, well, I am 30 now.
Welcome to the rest of us, Max.
What a start from Newcastle. They've come out firing, and even the loss of Alex Badalato has not put any sort of hesitation in the way they're playing.
Well, Mark Milligan isn't a fan of it, but it's very apparent to everyone else. This is a young team, but they do have depth. And that depth really has been worked out as these players have got game time throughout the Australian Cup, but also in the early stages of this season. They've adjusted. This is looking like a lot more assured Newcastle side as we head into 2026.
Eli Adams gets away from Francis de Vries, who gets back. Adams in the area. And Rebounds off Gyagos into the hands of Vout. Auckland just seem a little bit shell-shocked by it all.
Well, if you look at the route to goal, and we've noted that Callan Elliott showed Clayton Taylor wide, and Taylor won that foot race, but the man marshalling the front stick for Michael Vout was Dan Hall. So rare that you see a misstep from him anywhere on the field, but inside the 6-yard, he has been watertight. That time found wanting.
So that's 3 of Lachlan Rose's 4 goals this season on this side of the Tasman. He must love coming through customs in New Zealand, sniffing goals. 3 in 3 games for Lachlan Rose here in New Zealand this season.
You're suggesting it's something for customs to keep an eye on there, Piney?
Well, I wonder if he gets too many more, they might be stopping him at the border.
Well, Auckland now are the ones that are finding space in behind the Newcastle back 4, and it's a yellow card to the 18-year-old Max Cooper. Had a handful of Guillermo Mai's shirt, and this is what Auckland will be wanting from Mai. He's combative. He combines quality with work rate, and he worked his way into space behind Max Cooper there, and it's ended up in this free kick. And he got 2 dangerous deliverers of the ball. All whites, Jesse Randall and Francis de Vries.
Second yellow card of the season for Max Cooper. This is Guillermo Mai's first start since the 23rd of November. He's earned this free kick, being addressed by Randall and de Vries. A line of Newcastle shirts along the 6-yard area. De Vries leaves it for Randall, who shoots near post! And Auckland FC, through Jesse Randall with a 3rd goal in 3 games, are back on level terms.
Jesse Randall, 2.0. What a 25-26 season this man is having. One of the stories of the year, moved from impact player to necessary part of Corica's machine. He's been the most consistent avenue to chances for Auckland FC, and this time brings the dead ball to life, sneaks it in at their near post. James Dalianoff found wanting. Jesse Randall finds the equaliser.
Well, there was a certain amount of doubt about Jesse Randall's goal against Western Sydney and the fact that he was lying on the ground and the ball deflected off his ankle and up into the roof of the net. No doubt there. He joins Sam Cosgrove on 4 goals for the season, 7 across his career, and what a season, as you say, it's been for Jesse Randall.
And it's deja vu all over again. 2 goals inside the first 15 minutes is exactly what happened last time out at Go Media. The Newcastle Jets a bit behind schedule. They scored 2 minutes after they did last time, but Auckland 2 minutes ahead. What a way to start 2026.
I guess we shouldn't be surprised when Newcastle are involved. They've scored 21 goals this season, but now conceded 23. So they certainly don't partake in dull 0-0 draws, this team. Already a goal apiece inside the first 15 minutes of the new year. Lachlan Rose has the honour of the first goal scorer in 2026 in the Isuzu UTE A-League men's. Jesse Randall, quick to respond.
From a goalkeeping perspective, James Dalianoff's first task has to be to keep the ball out of the back of the net. The most dangerous place for it to cross the line is at that near post, and you can see how desperate he is to get there and how disappointed he was when that ball slipped past him.
Dobson looks to set Taylor away, and he's fouled as he got the ball away. Will Dobson. What about the decoy from de Vries? Does that play a part at all, or is there still enough time for James Dalianoff to adjust?
I think that's more of a decoy for the defenders, Piney. If Francis de Vries whips his left foot around the ball, it's going away from goal into the runs of Vistrata and Cosgrove. Dalianoff really needs to be mindful about having 2 players over the ball. One, having the ability to hit it so dangerously on his right foot, drawing it in to his goal.
Max Burgess peeling out into the left wing position, not able to win a corner for his side. 138th game in the A-League men's for Max Burgess, had time at Wellington. There's the stat that Newcastle have scored and conceded the most. It's quite the combination. I guess that's Mark Milligan's side's DNA as they come again to Newcastle. Michael Bell with the save, and they've scored again. Will Dobson. Crazy game of football. Will Dobson off the bench and scores for Newcastle, who retake the lead.
3 and 15. What a start, out the gates, both sides bolting. And Will Dobson, from almost exactly the same spot where he scored last time, he repeats it. Dan Hall dribbles it out, plays Auckland into danger, and then look at the four shirts streaming forward in white and gold. The defenders can't get there. Michael Veld does enough to keep it out initially. Again, it's Clayton Taylor. It's a left hand from Veld, but all he manages to do is pushes it into the path for Will Dobson, and he loves that one. Wheels away to celebrate in front of the port.
Third goal of the season for Will Dobson. He probably thought he'd be watching the first half and a chunk of the second before being called into action. Instead, he's out there for Battalato. And Newcastle just have this ability to hurt you from so many different places. Battalato 4 goals, Rose 4 goals, Dobson 3, Adams has a couple, Gibson off the bench has 3. They don't rely on one source of goals. And Clayton Taylor again involved.
Keep an eye on Louis Vestrada and Felipe Gallegos. Neither has been on the ball. And the reason for that is Max Burgess and Will Dobson are following them everywhere. Mark Milligan has clearly identified the 2 deep-line players as the way Auckland want to play. And they're denying Auckland that strength thus far. The consequence, of course, Piney, is that players like Dan Hall want to play out because they don't have that option in front of them. And that's what's caused Newcastle going ahead for the second time this afternoon.
So 8 different goal scorers this season for Newcastle. Only Adelaide have more, with 10 different players on the score sheet for the Reds. Eli Adams draws a foul. Might have been a stray hand in the face of Jesse Randall from Eli Adams.
Eli Adams tight to the touchline, but a fantastic wriggle past Jesse Randall. Randall late to the piece, but in the aftermath of Adams going beyond him, caught a stray elbow, but we're back under play with Randall sideline.
So Auckland going to have to defend with 10 for the moment. I think a finger in the eye for Jesse Randall. They're trying desperately to get him ready to get back on. Well, 2026 in the A-League men's has begun with an absolute bang. 3 goals in the first quarter hour. Auckland in a low block as Taylor comes again. Burgess in the area. Dan Hall with a vital intervention that time. Still there for the Jets. Burgess. No one on the far post, and Francis de Vries should be able to deal with this one okay. Well done from Lachlan Bayliss, though, as he recycles. Let's get sideline to Ash Tulloch. It's already warm down there by the sounds of it, Ash.
Yeah, there's a breeze that's been coming through, so everyone's sort of getting hydrated. But I have to tell you, Jesse Randall has sat up in front of us. He got a stray elbow from Clayton Taylor, who has been quite a menace out there, providing some assistance with goals, but Francis there getting that one clear. But as we can see just in front of us, there's a bit of blood on Jesse's hand and finger, so looks like he's just getting that strapped up, and they'll be sure to try and get him back out on the field shortly, I'm sure.
Well, as Newcastle have Auckland pinned deep, the way in which they're doing it, they're looking for space out wide. Look at the rotation down the left-hand side in particular between Taylor, Burgess and Bertolicio. The interchange, one pops out wide, another comes inside, and it's causing all sorts of issues for Callan Elliott and Dan Hall in particular. They don't know which bus to catch at this point, Piney.
Cosgrove, and he's taken out by Cooper, who's already on a yellow card. It's a second yellow card for Max Cooper, and this crazy game has another chapter. Max Cooper has been sent off.
The 18-year-old forlornly makes his way to the sideline. Well, Dan Hall got himself in all sorts of bother before, and Max Cooper has gifted Auckland an easier task getting back level again in this one. It's a poor touch, and as he moves to his left, he hears the hoos from Cosgrove. He tries to make amends, but all he does is buy himself another yellow. That's his second, and he's off for a very, very early shower.
Can Auckland make immediate use of their numerical advantage? Very little argument, really, from Max Cooper. I think he knew the early yellow card for the tug on the shirt of Guillermo Mai, and he was just trying to make up for his heavy touch there and caught Cosgrove. So Newcastle are going to have to protect this lead for 70-plus minutes with only 10 men.
That is a very wide definition of protect as well, Barney. This is not a side that we've seen sit back. Scored the most in the competition, but also conceded the most. And you'd argue now, down to 10 men here at Go Media, up against Auckland. Their task of keeping Auckland to 1 is multiplied in difficulty.
First red card shown to a Newcastle Jets player this season. In fact, they've only been shown before today 11 yellows, the joint fewest in the competition. And here's Max Cooper with 2 in the space of 20 minutes to be shown the way to the tunnel. So let's see what that does to the Newcastle Jets formation. Max Cooper was anchoring the back 3.
Well, coming back to your point earlier about the formation, we were given a formation pre-game which suggested Newcastle would be in a back 3. In actual fact, when they are set up, it's a back 4, and Kostas Grozos has stepped in alongside Mark Natter to fill the shoes of Max Cooper. Lockie Bayliss and Bertolicio are the fullbacks, and the question will be, are we going to see Shaughnessy? He's on the bench at the moment. He's the player that you'd think would be able to provide a bit of experience and some stability back there, and also allow Grozos to step back into the midfield where he can assert some sort of influence, and importantly, as he wears the armband, leadership. Well,
I wonder whether that would be, because you'd have to sacrifice somebody. I wonder whether it might be Will Dobson. Cosgrove links with Mai. Will Dobson only came on for Badalato, scored a goal, and he now might be sacrificed. We'll wait and see as the subs warm up behind the goal that Auckland are attacking. Mai on his less favoured right foot. There's Randall back in the action wearing a headband. Gygos. De Vries, Cosgrove lurking at the far post. Mai with Gygos. And towards Cosgrove. Still there for Auckland. Mai can't quite bring it down. Does manage to keep it in. Gygos again. Cosgrove again. Delianov palms it wide. Brook hauls it in. Still there for Auckland. Elliott now with time to measure across. Can't find a teammate, and Newcastle might scramble this clear. Well, Auckland FC clearly keen to make quick use of the numerical advantage they've been handed.
I forget a gear shift from Newcastle. They have dropped off. This is incredibly different from the side that played the first 20 minutes. Up tempo, a lot of pace, a lot of ambition in their play. Now it's very much about protecting the castle, and impetus sits with Auckland.
Haven't seen a lot of Lockie Brook in the first 25 minutes of this game. He's trying to get involved more now. Last couple of games he's been in that 10 role, which is where he finds himself now. Ball at feet. Feeds De Vries. Brook again, this time for Mai. Newcastle hold firm for the meantime. Prolonged period of possession for the home side. Fastrada seeks out Elliott in space on the right. Little 1-2 with Brook. In towards Cosgrove, behind by Grozos for a corner.
Well, it's the first time that we've seen Auckland with sustained possession in Newcastle's half. And from an attacking perspective, they're setting up with 2 9s and 2 10s. It's different players that are occupying those roles at any given time, but they're clearly wanting to exploit the space in behind Burgess and Dobson, or at least pin them back. The fullback's been allowed to occupy a high and wide position, but Auckland want numbers centrally to get them in the box.
41st corner of the season for Auckland FC. They haven't scored from any of them. Is that about to change? Into a crowded 6-yard area. Delianov gets a good punch.
A lot of bodies for James Delianov to deal with there. Perhaps not the cleanest contact, but he did enough. He pushed them all forward. He was able to handle things with some sort of authority. And this might be a bit of game management from James Delianov, just to allow Mark Milligan to give his charges a moment to rest and to recalibrate sideline. And what we're seeing is instruction being given at the moment.
Well, I think if they were going to bring Shaughnessy on, the veteran Irish defender, it probably would have happened by now, wouldn't it? They would have immediately made that decision. Instead, I think they're going to go with Grozos.
And what we're seeing sideline at the moment is Mark Milligan's holding court, but there's instruction from the Newcastle Jets management team. For Auckland, it's all about rehydrating, but for Newcastle, the instructions are flowing thick and fast, even from goalkeeper coach Jess Van Straten.
So we can all take a bit of a breath as James Delianov receives treatment. That has now happened, and we can go again. Randall and De Vries. Randall carries on his run, a bit heavy from De Vries, and Delianov can safely collect. But before today, Auckland FC had conceded just 7 goals in 9 games. 2 in the first 15 minutes here.
Crazy.
Just getting word of a yellow card to Lachlan Brook as well in the 18th minute of this match. We didn't pick up on that at the time, but Lachlan Brook has also found his way into Daniel Elder's notebook. Here's Eli Adams. Ambitious from Adams. He was a bit of a lone ranger up there, surrounded by Auckland FC defenders.
Well, the yellow card to Lachlan Brook was lost in amongst the 3 goals and 1 red card we had in the first 20 minutes. But if you're talking about a side perhaps not experienced in defending deep, what Newcastle do have is the ability to break from anywhere across the field and from deep. They've got individual threat in Rose, Adams, Clayton Taylor, big work rates from that front 3, and then depth on the bench as well.
Again, they probed the left, and Gijumo Mai had drifted into an offside position. It's almost exclusively down this left-hand side, isn't it? They must feel as though De Vries, Mai, Cosgrove dropping in, Randall are the ones who can do the most damage.
Well, Gijumo Mai starting centrally, and then he's drifting wide. Naturally left-footed, wanting to combine with Francis De Vries, and Jesse Randall's making those darting runs from deeper, but in between the fullbacks and centre-backs. Auckland wanting to stretch Newcastle to then attack the space just in the central channels, the central wide channels.
Rose and De Vries in a battle. Off Rose last for an Auckland FC goal kick. Dan Hall strides out of the penalty area, ball at feet. De Vries with the ball forward, doesn't find its mark.
Oh, not a good way to start 2026 for Jesse. I'm sure we're going for stitches, but unfortunately looks like the Karate Kid at the moment.
A rare foray down the right for Auckland FC. Lockie Brook is desperate to get involved in this football match. You can just feel it. Having had the free roll in the last couple of games and played really well there. To be forced out towards the right now. He's in a little pocket. Mai's out on the right now. And earns a corner off Bertolizio.
And Francis de Vries starts the ominous trot across to take the corner. And Auckland march into the Newcastle box. Really clear intent here. Rely on the delivery of de Vries and outnumber Newcastle, outmuscle them.
42nd corner of the season for Auckland FC. Will this one bear fruit? Again, it's into a crowded area. Delionoff again punches. Back out towards de Vries. Tries to find room to fashion a cross or a shot, and Dobson drew the foul. It's a crazy stat, really, given Francis de Vries' ability at set-piece time, that they haven't scored from a corner this season.
And they were so prolific last year from set pieces, Piney. And it wasn't textbook from Delionoff that time. Bit of a star jump from the custodian, but he's doing enough just to body the Auckland attacker and get a fist in front of the ball. So quite literally at the moment, James Delionoff, from either long throws or corners, is keeping Auckland at arm's distance.
The experience of Mark Natter, even at the tender age of 23, will be key out here as he is the cornerstone of this back four for Newcastle, approaching 100 games, 95 for Mark Natter. Here's Brook. Just wide from Lockie Brook. Well, we talked about him getting involved, and he is getting more and more influential in this game.
It's tasty when you see Lachlan Brook on that left foot, that sweet left foot, drifting inside. He's got a full sight of James Delionoff's goal. Misses, but not by much.
A goal scorer in the last game against Western Sydney, looking for 2-2 there, Lachlan Brook. Cosgrove off the line, links up well with Randall. Mai in the area. Towards the far post, Lockie Brook going to try and track this down. Bertolizio in close attendance. Brook helps it in. Mai is there, away by Grozos. Bit of a snapshot from Gallegos, and the hand slap against the thighs of Felipe Gallegos.
Auckland here, playing with tempo. Jesse Randall again, down the left. Look at the confidence of the young man, knows exactly what he's intending to do. Flashes it across the near post. GMMI looking to replicate Lockie Rose's opener.
A rare foray into Auckland FC territory for the Jets. Quickly stopped, but Max Burgess going to try and recycle. Dobson just lost sight of where the ball was for a second. Natter towards Bertolizio, who should be able to track this one down. Into the corner he goes and wins the corner. That's really good work from Joel Bertolizio.
The frequency will definitely fall away with Auckland's numerical advantage, but the willingness will maintain. Newcastle will continue to act with endeavour, quite happy to keep up the lung-busters this afternoon.
Well, this is Newcastle's 53rd corner of the season, and they haven't scored from one either. Now they'd love a 2-goal buffer. Down to 10, Lockie Rose coming towards the near post. Girdwood Reich with a header to get it away, and now Auckland FC can break quickly through Cosgrove. Tried to find Mai. Bertolizio, a very good piece of defending from Joel Bertolizio. And a crucial piece of defending too. Mai looks for Cosgrove. Has he stayed onside? Sam Cosgrove takes the shot, Delionoff. And the flag does stay down on the far side. So they've done well with this run, Sam Cosgrove.
Well, 2 times Auckland almost breaking beyond Newcastle, even a man down. commitment of numbers forward. Fantastic intervention from Budalisio. It wasn't just one he was having to deal with. Auckland had 2 runners inside.
Fell on. Might have been good with Reich. And Daniel Elder has come back as he tried to give Auckland the opportunity to gain some advantage. Goodwood Reich collected as he tried to play that ball. Eli Adams comes across and offers a hand of apology. Callan Elliott, little drop of the shoulder. Now some room to work in. Headed behind by Mark Natter. That was perilously close to that near post for Mark Natter.
There's a predictability about Auckland. They want to get the ball wide. If there isn't space centrally, and the fullbacks confident on the ball, the issue has been that Newcastle simply can't keep them away for too long. The wave continues to crash down James Delinoff's end.
Another corner for Auckland FC. Same strategy employed in the 6-yard area. Just a throng of players. More elevation on this one, and that time Daniel Elder has seen a foul in the 6-yard area.
Well, this time DeFries goes back post, and Cosgrove, although he had 3 accompanying him, no one could match him from an elevation perspective.
Ash Tulloch sideline for us. What sort of feeling are you getting from the respective benches as we enter the final 7 or 8 minutes before the break, Ash?
Oh, definitely some harsh words that we can't say on the microphone, but I will mention that Alex Badalado has come back out, heavily strapped around his knee. Does not look like he will be going back onto the field.
Hold that thought, thanks, Ash. Here's Cosgrove trying to find room for the shot. Does find room! Well, it just wouldn't get out from under his feet, would it?
Cosgrove was waiting and waiting. Ball back to Vout, direct into the big man. Auckland this time going end to end. Jesse Randall, the man that Newcastle were worried about, it ends up falling to Cosgrove, and it trickles past the right post. You're right, he couldn't get it out from underneath his feet, but good patience from the big man. Just a fraction wide.
7 goal involvements for Sam Cosgrove in the first 9 games of the season. 4 goals, 3 assists, all of those since the 1st of November.
A couple of grumbles early doors about Sam Cosgrove, and I think the manner in which he was playing games. Didn't mind becoming the pantomime villain, an agitator. I think quietly he's gone about becoming the distractor, when you could argue he was distracting himself with those physical confrontations.
Here's Randall off on a run. Grozos nips in and heads it back. The other thing Sam Cosgrove has, I guess, to worry him somewhat is he's on 4 yellow cards. He knows the next time he picks one up, he'll be missing a game. But he picked up 4 in 7 games, hasn't got one in the last 2. Seems to have worked out what he can and can't do. Lockie Brook wants to get onto the left foot, surely. Instead out to Callan Elliott, forced wide. And Newcastle calmly negotiate that one. End up hacking it out for a throw.
Newcastle have to revert to a touch finder in Grozos. The right man in the right place for Mark Milligan. Had Mai and Randall outside him and Cosgrove in front of him. But calmness amongst the storm for the Newcastle captain.
Yeah, he's been battling a shoulder injury. He said this week it's a niggle that's gone on for a while. Nothing he can't overcome, he says. Thankfully, you don't really need your shoulder that much to play football.
Yeah, for some, fine.
It'd be different if it was Delionov, I guess. De Vries. Vistrata. Now Gyagos. I'll try the right-hand side again with Elliott. Brook Lachlan Brook. Only ever really one thing on the mind of Lachlan Brook, and I'm not sure, given his time again, he'd choose that course of action.
Yeah, Lockie Brook this time off the back of a phase of play that had stagnated. He was a bit too far from goal. Patience would have been a better dose for Auckland, especially with 5 minutes to half-time. A tiring Newcastle Jets team. A lot spent in this first half. Keep the pressure on them. Continue to turn the screws. And Lachlan Brook, that time, provided a vent for James Dalianoff and the 9 in front.
Brook getting more and more involved out on the right, collecting the ball and then making those runs inside. Myers popping up in different positions as well. Newcastle have done well to soak up the pressure since they went down to 10 men in the 21st minute. 20 minutes without further concession. Auckland FC, though, banging on this door. For Strata and Gygos. And towards the near post, and Randall pulls it back, and Cosgrove was waiting. In the way, Bertolicio. In fact, Dobson that time.
Everyone's contributing in a white shirt. Auckland are looking good, but Newcastle are surviving. Scrambling defence.
Gygos with a little bit of space. Across the area, Cosgrove! Girdwood Reich was there as well. Lachlan Brook looking to keep the attacking move going. Gets the help of Elliott. Guillermo Mai aiming for Cosgrove. On the edge, Brook. Hacked away by Dobson. Newcastle hanging on.
It's taken at least two to deny Sam Cosgrove off these crosses that are starting to rain down on the Newcastle defence. For James Dalianoff, that is a huge left hand at such a crucial time in the game.
De Vries looks up, sees Cosgrove again. Too big for him. On the edge for Strata. It's just all hands on deck for Newcastle at the moment, and they're short-handed. Chance now for Burgess to perhaps help them release the pressure valve ever so slightly. Clayton Taylor and Callan Elliott together. Elliott looking for a route back to Michael Vout. Instead, very composed defending from Elliott to bring it away. A rare sighting of Clayton Taylor in the last 20 minutes.
Newcastle just starting to wane here in the last few moments. The urgency isn't there, and their defensive runs can understand where the energy's been spent, but they need to stay focused, to stay disciplined right before half-time.
Brook on the ball. We're told there'll be 4 extra minutes added minimum at the end of the 45. Elliott, Cosgrove again the target, Natter in the road. It's relentless from Auckland FC. Like a training game of attack versus defence. Gygos. Cosgrove goes down in the area. No protest from the big Englishman. And a rare miscontrol from Felipe Gygos. And just a chance for Newcastle to catch their breath.
Auckland just moving that ball comfortably but confidently, trying to leverage some space in between these two banks of 4 for Newcastle.
Lachlan Rose operating in the engine room, just trying to break up play with the extra 4 minutes confirmed minimum at the end of this first half. Brook heard the call from Elliott, hangs it up for Cosgrove. That time he got the free header but couldn't direct it downwards.
Keeping on the back line here as Callum Elliott stands this one up. Sam Cosgrove, first movement deep, pushes Cosos away, creates his own space, and he's strong enough, although he's going away from goal, to get good power on that header.
Elliott again gets the better of Clayton Taylor. He has done a very, very good job deputising for Haruki Sakai, has Callum Elliott. De Vries, early ball for Randall. In for Gygos. Dobson, though, able to bring it away and draws a foul from Pastrada. It's excellent play from the teenager, Will Dobson.
Yeah, the 18-year-old. Great work to provide his side with some respite. A break, a much-needed break. Will Dobson up against arguably the best player in the A-League this season, Louis Pastrada, baited the Auckland number 6 into a foul. And Newcastle in no hurry to restart it here.
Well, I'm not sure that's exactly what the plan was from Lachlan Bayliss. Pretty sure that wasn't the plan either from Felipe Gygos. Auckland looked to construct another attacking move as we're halfway through the added 4 minutes. Gygos playing very deep. Mai. Gygos again looks up Cosgrove with the arm raised at the far post. Delian off and Cosgrove. Burgess gets it away. It's still there. Dan Hall. It's never scored for Auckland FC, Dan Hall. What a time it would be as Eli Adams tries to get out of a real throng of defenders. Randall frees up Mai. This time it's Burgess with the vital piece of defending. Good defending from Max Burgess. He'll suck up a few seconds in the corner, and eventually it is off Max Burgess for an Auckland FC throw. So we're going to end the half the way we started it, with a long throw from Francis de Vries. Jesse Randall comes short, not required. Instead it's towards the near post. Cosgrove is there. A little push, I think, from Callum Elliott. Referee let it go for the meantime. Was Brook offside? Yes, he was. And Newcastle, every little victory is being recognised. Natta and Grozos. An unlikely set of centre-backs, but a very effective one since Max Cooper was shown a red card. A second yellow for the 18-year-old in the 21st minute. And with that, Daniel Elder brings first half proceedings to a close. An early flurry of goals. Lachlan Rose opening the scoring early on. Jesse Randall squaring the ledger before Will Dobson scored in the 16th minute to give us that half-time score at Go Media. Auckland FC 1, the Newcastle Jets 2.
Please remember, we do not tolerate foreign care or unkind language towards staff or other fans within the stadium. Smoking and vaping are not tolerated at Go Media Stadium, which includes the use of e-cigarettes and vapes. Please respect those around you. At halftime here at the stadium, tonight's matchday partner is Go Media, driving big messages across Aotearoa, New Zealand every day. by any means necessary to get that beat back. All right, cue to the music. The music stopped the room up. If there's one here, run to it.
Well, the Jets know how to start fast. This is what they love to do. And Lockie Rose, well, he did the dirty early on Auckland FC, getting this one into the back of the net spoon.
Newcastle Jets came as advertised. That rang out in the build-up, but we saw a repeat dose for Auckland. They hadn't learned their lessons, and they find themselves 2-1 down here.
Well, it has been a spicy game, that's for sure. Let's take a closer look at the numbers. When it comes to possession, it was going up and down halfway through, but wow, 38% possession overall from Newcastle.
Look, stats aside, this one's a roller coaster. It's had absolutely everything. Apparently, we've got leftover fireworks, which are now being deployed at Go Media Stadium. Exhausting after 20 minutes, and we hadn't even mentioned the red card at that point.
Yeah, exactly, and we've had a few cards go out there, so we're going to look at those very shortly, but let's take a look at those who are able to get into the back of the net, because wow, it was quite exciting out there quite early. Let's have a look at this one from Lockie again.
Yeah, great work down the left-hand side. Look at the interchange and the combination between the likes of Taylor, Bertolicio and Burgess. They were manoeuvring Elliott all over the show. Unfortunately, finds himself a half yard off the pace here, and it's Taylor driving it across the near post. Dan Hall nowhere to be seen, and Jake Goodward-Wright couldn't make up the ground. It's an easy finish for such an experienced A-League player. But then Jesse Randall, James Delianoff has to do better here. It's an acute angle. Importantly, it's a very defendable one, and James Delianoff gets beaten by a cheeky shot from Randall, who continues the form of Cosgrove, Brook and Randall, scoring in the last 4 games. And then Dan Hall walks his way into trouble. Strata and Gallegos have been marshalled. It meant that Hall had license to try and work this way out from the defence. Stumbled, Newcastle pounced, and Auckland, for the second time this afternoon, find themselves a goal down.
And that man just there, Will Dobson, he came here last time and dominated within the first, I think, 3 minutes it was. But look, when one door closes, one door opens, and that was the opportunity for Will Dobson on the back of an injury, quite a nasty one to Alex Badalato.
This is horrible. It truly is horrible. Alex Badalato is one of the starlets of the A-League this season. Will Dobson, going even young for the Newcastle Jets and going to the bench, got them the goal. But let's have a look at how Alex Badalato exited the game. Wriggles his way free, and then it's a one-on-one tussle with Callan Elliott. Both players stretching for the ball. Elliott gets a toe on the ball, but just watch the way that Badalato's left knee bundles underneath him. Not in a good way, and the way he left the field suggests to me it's quite serious, Ash.
Yeah, whether you're a Jets fan, whether you're an Auckland fan, you do not like to see people go down. And Mark Milligan, the coach, as soon as he came off the field, gave him a big, big bear hug. It wasn't just a, oh, how are you, mate? He really could feel that one.
I think everyone understands how serious this is. And as you said, came back to the field heavily strapped. He'll be going into scans early tomorrow to see how devastating this will be for Newcastle.
Not the way he wants to start his 2026. But let's now catch up with a man that we know is having a great time on the sideline today, Ricardo Ball.
Yeah, thanks, Ash. And looking at the second half, a 10-man Jets and underpowered Jets, can they hold on? Well, the bookmakers would suggest not. Auckland FC to score over 1.5 goals in the second half is $1.73, with the Jets sitting deep, but maybe look for somebody to strike from range. Lockie Brook has that in his locker. He pays $2.75 anytime goal scorer in the second half. Well, what about correct score? 3-2 to Auckland FC, 4.20, 4-2, $6. There you go. Download the Betcher app, bet responsibly, maybe even follow me in.
Thanks so much, Ricardo. Well, it's been colourful all over the stadium today. The Port have been in full voice. They're hydrating, putting sunscreen on. Good to see them wearing hats as well. But hey, look, we've seen the umpire go to his pocket a few times today. We've had a few colourful cards, haven't we, Spoon?
Yeah, and unfortunately for Max Cooper, he was the recipient of 2. The 18-year-old picked up his first card away from the goal, perhaps unnecessarily, hands on Guillermo Mai there, and then works his way into all sorts of trouble, desperation, which brought Cosgrove to ground. This could be the deciding factor in the second half, Ash, because Newcastle are now being forced to play a game because of their disadvantage, the numerical disadvantage. That's not natural for them. They're attacking ambitious side. They're having to sit back now because of that second yellow card to Cooper.
Do you think that Auckland FC capitalised on the opportunity that they had there?
No.
Playing against
But I think patience is important because Newcastle really stepped off the gas. It's got all the ingredients for a classic second half here. It's a young, ambitious Newcastle side that has something to defend. And now Auckland, with vengeance in their mind, now have something to chase.
Well, we're all about football here at Sky, and you know what? It's not just about the A-League. You can also make sure you get involved in watching the Premier League. It is getting spicy this time of year. Obviously, the Rugby Sevens, the HSBC Rugby Sevens is something you do not want to miss. Darts, if you're a darts fan, do not go anywhere. The World Darts Championship is continuing, and of course the Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina 2026. It's going to be happening all live here on Sky Sport. But right here today, look at those guys. They are taking it all in, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying their party shirts. But the score is not to be celebrated for Auckland FC right now. It is 2-1. Who is going to come roaring back in the second half? Will it be the Jets? Will it be Auckland? Do not go away.
Alright folks, Anchor is going to be fueling AC and they want to fuel you as well. Today we're celebrating the amazing fans in the stands and have got an awesome Anchor prize pack ready for one lucky supporter. Check out the big screens. We are scanning, and if we zoom in on you, you are our lucky winner. Scan it, zoom in, give us away. Hello. Happy New Year, congratulations, you're our winner. Come down to the caravan to collect your prize. Cheers, Anchor. Stand by for the second half, AFC fans. We need you to bring the vibes, bring the noise, bring the money. Let's bring our boys home. Newcastle fans.
Auckland FC's first goal of 2026 from the right boot of Jesse Randall. That squared the ledger. Will Dobson, though, put the Jets back into a 2-1 lead. Let's get your sideline where Ash Tulloch is alongside Auckland FC goalkeeping coach Jonathan Gould.
Well, Jonathan Gould, you had the majority of the possession, but the scoreboard says something different.
Yeah, I think the possession in the first 15-20 minutes was theirs, to be honest. You know, we know what a good football inside Newcastle are. They've shown that. They score goals. They do concede, and we had a couple of sloppy moments that led to 2 of their goals.
Hiroki, I see he's got the captain band back on.
Yeah, no, just felt down that right-hand side. You know, we're going to have a lot of the ball now. We need his quality in that final third.
And just lastly, you know, having an extra player on the field, how do you plan on optimising that?
We've got to stretch the pitch now. We've got to make sure we change the ball a bit quicker than we have done and go down the flanks and then just get some good crosses in for Big Sam, and hopefully he'll do the rest for us.
And hopefully put on a show for all these fans here today.
Yeah, they've been amazing today for New Year's Day. I'm sure there's a few thick heads out there though as well.
Thanks so much, Goldie. Have a good one. Good luck.
That's Jonathan Gould with Ash Tulloch, clear-headed as always. Jonathan Gould, even on New Year's Day. So Hiroki Sakai on for Callan Elliott for Auckland FC. Also 2 changes for the Newcastle Jets. Joe Shaughnessy and Xavier Bertoncello are into the action for Eli Adams and Clayton Taylor. So 2 attacking players off. Bertoncello is an attacking player, he's on, but also Joe Shaughnessy, the big defender, the big Irish defender, as 10-man Newcastle look to hold this lead. Second half underway on New Year's Day. Auckland FC now attacking the right of screen, the port end of Go Media Stadium, where their most fanatical fans take up residence. Newcastle will have them at their back as they try to repel everything Auckland FC throw at them in the second half. Cosgrove over in the area. All eyes on Daniel Elder. Well, we've seen Sam Cosgrove go down in that penalty area before and suggested of handball as well.
There was Mark Natter caught out, more worried about Cosgrove than the ball. I suspect it's hit his right arm on the way down there. The port definitely screaming for a penalty.
Here's Sakai's first involvement. It'll be a corner now. Let's see if there's any word from Sam Kelly and VAR. Hiroki Sakai wants to know.
Well, his first involvement is to get that cross, and his second is to ask for VAR. Cosgrove's tumbling to the ground, but Mark Natter took his eye off the ball, hand away from the body. And asking the question of Daniel Elder.
Daniel Elder just waiting to hear from Sam Kelly. He's decided it's okay by the looks of it as De Vries delivers. So neither the tumbling Cosgrove or the errant arm from Mark Natter have resulted in a penalty. We stay at 2-1, but action-packed start to the second half. De Vries with his less favoured right foot. Newcastle just about get it clear. It's confirmation of those subs for Newcastle. Shaughnessy on for Adams. Bertoncello for Taylor. See, Joe Shaughnessy has gone into the centre of defence alongside Mark Natter. Arm in the air there now. Joe Shaughnessy. He's going to have plenty of work to do. The veteran Irishman to keep Auckland FC at bay.
Well, the substitutions from Newcastle clear with the impending pace of play and the turning of the screws with Auckland. Combination with the conditions. The Jets simply needed fuel in the tank.
Sakai hurls this one into the 6-yard area. Shaughnessy with the header. Lachlan Rose gets it away. Brook and Gygos together. And then Will Dobson hacking it away. Lachlan Rose hares after it. De Vries gets there first. Jesse Randall with a fresh headband. Girdwood Reich. Sakai has been heavily employed in the first couple of minutes of the second half since his introduction. Brook and towards Cosgrove. A diving Shaughnessy. Dobson can't get it away. Sakai. The Jets scramble. Brooks in the area. Stands it up at the far post and headed behind by Lachlan Bayliss. It is all hands on deck for the undermanned Jets.
Auckland pinning Newcastle back to the 18-yard box. You see the numbers in there for the Newcastle Jets. Auckland quite clearly trying to circumvent this white wall that's in front of them.
Jesse Randall lines up the latest set-piece situation. It's crowded in there. Shaughnessy and Cosgrove together, and I think Joe Shaughnessy has got a very simple brief in the second half.
Yeah, if you want to talk about KPIs for the second 45 minutes here, Joe Shaughnessy almost has 1 and 1 alone, and that's to marshal Sam Cosgrove. Suspect everywhere Cosgrove goes, especially during set pieces, you're going to see Joe Shaughnessy.
Chance for Newcastle perhaps to attack. Francis de Vries is back and finds Michael Vout. Joe Shaughnessy had time at Aberdeen, as did Sam Cosgrove. Pretty sure they weren't there at the same time though, but they'll be familiar with one another, no doubt. Most of Joe Shaughnessy's football has been played in Scotland. Aberdeen, Forfar, Athletic, Falkirk, St Johnstone, St Mirren, Dundee. Just a tour of Scottish football clubs for Joe Shaughnessy. Auckland FC looking to pounce upon some defensive hesitation from the Jets. Brook towards Mai. Burgess. Dobson. Calling for fouls on the edge of the area. Here's Bertoncello. He sets off for Strata, gets a toe to it, and Hall completes the job. Cosgrove draws Natter away. Sakai. Cosgrove stretching to reach it. Louis Verstrata stops the Jets from exiting.
Well, it's a massive 45 minutes for the youngster Bertolicio, occupying the left back role. He's got reinforcements in front of him of Bertoncello, but what he needs to repel for Mark Milligan is Lockie Brook wide, Hiroki Sakai with the cavalry from deep, and then Guillermo Mai, Auckland's talismanic danger man from last season, looking to work his way not only to get Auckland level, but to get his season kick-started. A lot to keep the young man occupied.
I'll go down the left this time from Randall. Shaughnessy steps in. He's got fresher legs than many of his teammates. And does he want to throw there? He has. So a chance to take a breath.
The other wrinkle in this Newcastle setup for the second half is that Max Burgess has been pushed into that solitary role centrally. 2 banks of 4 and the number 14 in front. That means that Lockie Rose and Bertoncello have to be the willing runners. If they are to get Auckland to move defensively, it's going to come from not only energetic runs, but often runs from deep and from wide through Rose and Bertoncello.
Sakai won't be able to haul that one in, I wouldn't imagine. Well, he has. I underestimated his level of fitness. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on to it as Bertoncello was back helping out. And then Dobson earns the foul. Well, Hiroki Sakai showing a clean set of heels as he did manage to keep that one in. And managed back, sorry, Jacob is managed back into the side off the bench, Hiroki Sakai. A full 45 minutes today.
We often say that Sakai leads by example. Not necessarily the loudest communicator, but demonstrates through his action the sense of urgency that Auckland need to maintain, especially in the first stages of the second half.
Logan Rogerson is being readied for action as well. We hear he's going to replace Jesse Randall. And here is that change now, Logan Rogerson. He was left out of the starting side for the reintroduction of Guillermo Mai, and Jesse Randall, a goal scorer. But he departs, and Logan Rogerson going to have the best part of 40 minutes to make an impact here. Wants to get going immediately.
Disappointed Randall But it looks like his replacement down the left has been Lockie Brook, a natural left footer. Logan Rogerson occupying the role that he has done for so long under Steve Corica down the right, reinforcing what they want to do, providing capital in the flanks. Sakai and Rogerson down the right, DeFries and Brook down the left.
Yeah, so it's a fresh right-hand side for Auckland FC with Sakai and now Rogerson into the action for Elliott and Randall. As you say, Lockie Brook has gone across to the left-hand side. It'll prevent him from cutting in and using that left foot for shots, but he's likely to be effective wherever he is. Newcastle holding firm for now. They've negotiated 9 of the 45 minutes in the second half.
They're a young side, and this isn't natural for them, defending so deep. We talked about the box office Jets in the last month or so, an ambitious team, but today being asked to be defensively disciplined. And what the question they'll be posing Auckland is, can you break us down? But combined with that, do you have enough time? Because this is a willing set of runners for Mark Milligan.
Rogerson can't haul that one in. Well, Mark Milligan doesn't necessarily like talking about it explicitly, but the fact is his squad is on average 2 years younger than the other squads in the A-League men's. 12 of the 18 in the matchday squad today are under 23, 7 of the starting 11 under the age of 23. He's very much of the mind that if you are good enough, you're old enough for my team. Mark Milligan on his haunches, watching the second half play out. Steve Corica, in the meantime, is out on the edge of his technical area, urging his side forward. De Vries in towards Cosgrove. Delianov takes it off the head of Sam Cosgrove.
Cosgrove lurking, even with Delianov and his hands on the ball, as he has done throughout the season. Cosgrove will be reminding the goalkeeper that he's not going away. Every time that ball gets played into the box, he'll be there.
Lachlan Rose off on a run. What about this from Lachlan Rose? He can't get the ball out from under his feet. Dan Hall takes it away from him. Lachlan Rose just loves playing on this side of the Tasman as Lachlan Bayliss fouls the other Lachlan Brook, and he wants to know, Brook, why there isn't further sanction for Lachlan Bayliss. Lachlan Bayliss, of course, is All Whites eligible. His dad, born in New Zealand, hasn't yet played for the full All White side. Just the under-23s. Here's Rogerson. He's a full All White. He's in the area, Logan Rogerson. And it rebounds rather fortuitously into the hands of James Delianov. Feeling Michael Vout is going to have very little to do in the second half, as a foray from Lachlan Rose a moment or two ago was a rare thing since Newcastle went down to 10. Sakai, well, that time he's not going to haul it in.
And Burgess and Rose have switched again. Burgess now in the centre of midfield, and Lockie Rose being deployed to provide some sharpness through the centre. The introduction of Sakai. And Brook down the left. The space will be through the heart of Auckland. They're going to send the fullbacks high and wide.
From the Jets throw, Auckland are almost immediately back in possession. The imports, the experienced players. Sakai, Mai, Gygos on the ball now. Made it a little bit difficult for Francis de Vries, but carries on. Does Gygos, but it's all broken up in midfield. Here's Burgess for Newcastle. And Lachlan Brook has done well to get back, but Burgess has held onto the ball. Rose, can he poke it out sideways to Dobson? Couldn't quite. It's Mai who will haul this one in. Rogerson in close proximity. Kizumo Mai wants to get on that left foot. Reverse pass to Rogerson. Grozos. Again, though, Auckland seize upon the scratch through for Strata. In towards Cosgrove. Natter with a head in the way.
Burgess just needed to release Bertoncello before. It was a great run. Burgess had finally found himself in some space in the midfield, and Bertoncello busting a lung to break forward down the left.
Crowd trying to lift the home side. Rogerson on the far post. Did well to keep that one in, but couldn't deflect it back towards Cosgrove. Rose off again, Hall and Vout. Good penalty area management from Michael Vout. Just feels like Lachlan Brook is going to be pretty integral to Auckland FC's route back into this game. On the ball now, helps it in. Delianoff got a good view of it.
Yeah, while Auckland want to be methodical and stay patient, they do need a change in the way that they will be attacking Newcastle, and the maverick qualities of Lachlan Brook might be the difference. A fatigued side, mentally under the weight of being a man down, might not be ready for whatever Lachlan Brook has in his bag of tricks.
An hour gone. First in a New Year's Day doubleheader. We're off to Combank next for Western Sydney against MacArthur. Rogerson cuts inside. For Strata to De Vries. Goes the lower route this time rather than the ball into Cosgrove in the air.
At the moment, it's welded shut through the middle of Newcastle's defence. The only space is out wide.
De Vries. Again, it's dealt with by Shaughnessy. Gygos lines up the shot, and the rather theatrical dive from James Delianoff.
Well, frustration from Felipe Gygos, but this is a small win for Newcastle. If they force Auckland to shoot from all of 30 yards from a position like this, denying the danger men, then that'll breathe some life, some confidence into the game plan of the Jets. And it's Bertolicio that is holding proceedings up here. He's down on the deck. Gone through a huge amount of work, the number 22 for Newcastle this afternoon.
So just while we've got a break, Auckland FC's loss to Newcastle back in round 6 was just their second ever regular season A-League loss at home, just their third ever A-League loss at home, and just their 5th ever A-League loss anywhere. This is their 38th game, just 5 losses in the previous 37. Steve Corica, pensive, wondering whether this dam will burst anytime soon. Hawaiian shirt day warmly embraced by Auckland FC fans. Just shy of 15,000 here a year ago on New Year's Day. It'll be north of that today, I'd imagine. We'll get an official number at some stage. And right on cue, there you go. Seamless television broadcasting. 16,156 in attendance today. It's a terrific turnout for New Year's Day with so many people away on holiday, perhaps doing other things, perhaps recovering from last night's festivities. 16,156, terrific crowd. They're willing. An equaliser from Auckland FC, most of them, apart from the small pocket of Newcastle fans who are watching fairly nervously from the other end. Max Burgess is off. Lachlan Rose is charging into the centre forward position. If Burgess can find him, he can't quite, but there's handball on that side.
Getting glimpses of this, albeit now limited attacking intent from Newcastle. As Jonathan Gould said, a wonderful technical team, confident on the ball. They've still been able to find space in behind Auckland. Here we see Max Burgess, ball into the hands of Louis Verstrada, and it was again Lockie Rose stretching Auckland deep.
Bidwar and Howison ready to enter the fray. Ball towards the far post, and Max Burgess with a golden opportunity to make it 3-1.
Well, we thought Joe Shaughnessy, his highlights would include handling Sam Cosgrove down the other end, but this time he gets up highest, nods that one back down into a dangerous area, and it's Max Burgess lurking. Oh, and he's all by himself. That's on his favoured left foot as well. This needs to be on target for the Newcastle Jets.
So here come the changes. Jonty Bidwar and Cam Howison on for Lachlan Brook and Felipe Gallegos. Interesting changes. Cam Howison's first minutes since November the 30th. Jonty Bidwar, just a 6th appearance, all of them off the bench for Auckland FC. Lachlan Brook withdrawn with 25 minutes to go. Mai probing that left-hand side. Howison has set up camp there. In towards Rogerson.
Let's have another look at this, because the Newcastle Jets should have extended their lead. Auckland had largely switched off. Look at Gerwood Wright, look at the freeze. Verstrata, no one had picked up Max Burgess. And although he was all by himself, he couldn't steer that one under the crossbar or even test Michael Velt.
Max Burgess hasn't scored in the A-League since round 13 of the 2023-24 season. So nearly 2 years ago when he got a brace for Sydney FC, ironically enough, against Newcastle. So what a time that would have been to break a nearly 2-year goal-scoring drought for Max Burgess. Verstrada striding into the area. Shaughnessy again. Geez, been a rock since coming on. Verstrada, they look for offside. Not given. De Vries into the area. Falls for Bidwar. Bidwar trying to get a shot away, and it deflects off Jonty Bidwar. A fancy for a goal kick.
Two really interesting changes from Steve Corica. And the consequence of them is now Newcastle's two banks of 4 and white are being matched in symmetry almost with two banks of 4 by Auckland in black and blue. It is almost man for man in that penalty box now. Corica has realised that Newcastle are just going to sit deep and they're just going to counter-attack. But for large periods, Auckland will have the ball. And what they needed is targets, and Jonty Bidwar gives them one of those. It's a dual threat now with Cosgrove centrally for Newcastle to have to deal with.
The whiteboard is out on the Jets bench as they look for strategies to deal with the change from Auckland FC. Sakai tracks back. We're into the final quarter of this game. Newcastle have had the lead since the 16th minute. Auckland FC have had a numerical advantage since the 21st minute. In towards Rogerson. Cosgrove! Can't bring it down. Sam Cosgrove, a good header back from Logan Rogerson.
Great leap from Logan Rogerson. It's set up well. Cam Howison in a pocket. Quarterbacks this one on a slanted run in for Rogerson. He looks to find Cosgrove. Cosgrove wanted to take a touch here. Potentially the better option was to try and steer that one first time onto Dalionov's goal.
Ash Tulloch sideline for us. How deep are the worry lines on the Auckland FC bench, Ash?
They're a bit frustrated, I have to say. They're asking for a bit more pace, asking for more speed from their side. They were asking for it in the first half. They still obviously haven't been getting enough because Steve has been saying move up, push up. So they want a bit of pace, maybe less multiple touches, maybe just a first touch and go. So let's see what we're going to get in the second half with Hiroki up there now.
Sakai in towards Bidwa. Cleared by the Jets. Rogerson wanted him to pull it back to him. Jonty Bidwa.
He's a young man that's been given very clear instructions, and that's to force the ball on goal. But his teammates are saying, we might be in a better position, mate. Have a look up.
Sakai hurls it towards the near post. Cleared by Bertoncello. It's just all hands on deck for the Newcastle Jets. Sakai frees up Rogerson. Near post delivery, not cleared. It's there for Vestrada, won't come down for him. Hacked away by Shaughnessy. Newcastle in possession of the 3 points. If they were to win this game, Newcastle, they'd go from 9th to 5th on the A-League ladder. That is how tight the table is. An incredible jump, and it would be a second consecutive win against Auckland FC away from home. Have we finally found Auckland FC's bogey team, Jake?
Well, it certainly would be history-making. But the game now becomes very simple for Newcastle. As you see there on the screen, Auckland have never lost consecutive matches to an opponent. But for Newcastle, it's simple.
Here comes Mai. Delianov's there. Rogerson can't finish. Bidwa can't finish. They look certain to square the ledger. Desperation on the line from the Newcastle Jets.
It's simple, and that's a great example. Survive. That is the message for Mark Milligan as his side continues to battle, to scramble, to keep Auckland in their grasp. And every chance they're going to try and take the tension out of the atmosphere. James Delianov denies Guillermo Mai at the first time of asking. Bidwa has 2 bites of the cherry. He can't come up with the treats after doing the mahi inside the 6-yard box. They're knocking on the door, but Newcastle have braced.
With Jonty Bidwa, the Tauranga City junior and senior player, sniffing his first ever A-League men's goal. He and Rogerson almost getting in one another's way. Vestrada thought about the shot. Hall tracking across the penalty area. Rogerson helps it in towards Cosgrove. Headed behind by Bayliss. Another corner coming.
Sam Cosgrove is a constant presence at the back post. Walker looking to stand it up to him. That time got underneath it and forced Lachlan Bayliss to concede the corner.
6th corner of the contest for Auckland FC, remembering they haven't scored from one yet this season. Near post delivery, Howison. He thought it flicked off a Newcastle player. Daniel Elder thought otherwise. And another set-piece situation is successfully negotiated by the Newcastle Jets. Now clearly off Howison only.
Oh, Bertoncello at that near post wasn't willing to give Cam Howison an inch. And Daniel Elder now actively managing the Newcastle Jets. But the tension is building at Go Media. Auckland stretching Newcastle. At the moment, they aren't demonstrating that they're going to snap, but things are going a lot more fraught. There is a fraying of the edges.
Vestrada frees up his captain, Sakai. Rogerson, as they probe the right-hand side again. Centrally to Dan Hall. Girdwood, Reich and De Vries now in the sunshine. Mai. Into Bidwa. Howison. Debris spaced by Dobson. Hangs it up to Cosgrove and then Rogerson. And jamming it between the post and his gloves. James Delianoff keeps it out.
Well, James Delianoff looking straight back into the sun. I think this is hopeful from the goalkeeper. He's blinded. As you can see there, DeFries stands it up the back post. This time it's Rogerson and James Delianoff 2 minutes up, just hoping to come down with the ball.
Now Newcastle are going to get the chance to release the pressure valve here, as looked as though there were fouls on both Lachlan Rose and Max Burgess. Precious seconds being soaked up, but still plenty of time. Plenty of time left.
And what Auckland can't have happen again after the warning shot last time through a combination of Shaughnessy and Burgess is give themselves another goal to climb back against.
Bertolicio, it's a rare attack from Newcastle. Grozos. Natta slips over and almost a catastrophe from Mark Natta. His teammates help out. Will Dobson. Well, Mark Natta holds up a hand of apology. A bit cheeky from Joel Bertolicio there as he tried to get the ball away from Auckland FC in front of an enraged Auckland FC bench. Kota Mitsunuma is going to be introduced. And it's going to be, I think, Joel Bertolicio who makes way off the back of the yellow card he was just handed. Kota Mitsunuma, the Japanese player. In fact, it's Bertoncello who only came on at half-time. So the substitute is substituted. Bertolicio received the yellow card. He is still out there. We play on. Dan Hall's on the edge. What a time to score your first Auckland FC goal. Straight at Delianoff.
Well, the crowd likes it, but I suspect so will James Delianoff. 25 yards from goal, centre-back on the ball. Striking it. It's a long way for the goalkeeper to see it. A manageable situation again for Newcastle.
It's been 2 years since Dan Hall's last goal. It was in Mariners colours in December 2023. So Mitsunuma has settled into the left-hand side of what is now a Jets back five. Bertolicio has gone in to join Shaughnessy and Natta. And it comes. Shaughnessy gets it away and gets a whack on the leg from Bidwar. Sakai can't find a teammate. Burgess sucks another foul, and Rogerson and Vistrada, the frustration out there starting to grow.
Well, Auckland will have the ticking of the clock ringing in their ears. Kyrika has played his hand. He's made the changes. And that time one of those, Logan Rogerson dangled out a foot, and Max Burgess more than happy to go down.
Well, it was 2-1 when the teams last met here in round 6. The weather conditions, as you'll remember that day, certainly played their part. Newcastle scored their second goal just before half-time in that game. This would be, without doubt, a more impressive result if they're able to hold on to hold a lead that they took in the 16th minute, going down to 10 in the 21st, on a beautiful day for football.
And it's been driven by youngsters like Will Dobson. Mark Milligan doesn't want to speak about them, but this is a youthful Jet side from one of the most profitable regions in football in Australia, the Hunter. And they are showing what a well-coached team can do.
Now Logan Rogerson not at all happy with the challenge from Costa Grozos. Yellow card come in the way of Grozos, but he stopped a would-be attack 45 metres from goal, which was no doubt the intent. Rogerson not happy at all.
Auckland every right to be frustrated. That denied them an attack, but some of the audience won't like this. For the Jets now, it's about understanding how many yellow cards they can burn before the end of the 90. What can they deny by any means necessary?
Marley Francois in for Guillermo Mai. Birthday cake on Monday for Marley Francois as he turned 23. Wouldn't he love a late present of an equalising goal? De Vries into a crowded penalty area. Delianov will gather and collides with his own man, Grozos. And again, play will be halted as a Newcastle player receives treatment, and the boos ring down into the ears of Costa Grozos from the port.
That's a very high line. Conviction from the Jets. Sam Cosgrove with the touch, and Dan Hull can't quite get there. Grozos was looking to box out his goalkeeper, ends up being collateral.
Sam Cosgrove wants to know why the restart's being taken from there. I'm not sure it matters that much. We're into the final 10 minutes of regulation time. We had high drama on New Year's Eve and a 2-1 scoreline. Is 2026 going to begin in dramatic fashion as well?
We've talked about Newcastle's ambition. Auckland also a side built on ambition and bonded through achievement late on in games. Last season, even beyond the 90, came up with goals with regularity. Will they need to do so here today?
Auckland FC are just desperate to get the ball back whenever the Newcastle Jets have it. Time is starting to become a factor. Remember, Newcastle are the side who have conceded the most goals this A-League season. 5 goals in the final 15 minutes they have conceded. But they're holding firm for the meantime. Hall is getting further advanced. Plays it into Vestrada, who will not stop running. Rogerson hangs it up. Cosgrove goes down in the area. Bayliss did a good job of getting his body in the right position. Back in by De Vries. Benoit!
Sam Cosgrove again at the back stick. You can see him sensing this one as it developed. It's back to Rogerson. It's a ball hit with pace and it's targeted Cosgrove, but just look how Bayliss leans into the big man. The heavyweight unable to land a blow that time.
Rose looking to seize upon a rebound. Instead it falls the way of De Vries, who's still got plenty of running. The freshly arrived Marley Francois, what can he create down the left-hand side? Runs at Bayliss. Gets across in. Rogerson. Vestrada. Well, his eyes lit up, the Belgian, as the ball dropped to his left foot.
It's been the position where he's scored both his goals so far this season, Louis Vestrada. This time, though, not on his favoured right foot. It's another good leap from Rogerson. He's disappointed. He's trying to find Cosgrove on that back post. Instead, in front of Atari Newcastle, Vestrada comes up with the ball. And the conviction that Newcastle have defending wasn't demonstrated by Vestrada on his left foot.
7 minutes plus stoppages. So often last season, Auckland FC scored late to earn points. Francois. Rogerson pulls it back for Strade. Cosgrove in each other's way again. The eagerness. Cosgrove can't get ahead on that one. De Vries hangs it up. On the edge for Strada. Desperate defence from the Newcastle Jets. And Louis Verstrada can't wrap his right boot around it. And another chance goes begging.
The more I watch of Will Dobson, the more it is there is to like. He's come up with goals, scored both times this season at Go Media, but in the second half, it's his understanding of the game, his sense of urgency of where the danger is going to develop. And that time, he was the man who bared down on Verstrada to deny a clear-cut opportunity. 18, but such game understanding from the young man.
Yeah, well, Damien Zane, the Jets Academy head coach, says Will Dobson is one of the best young players I've seen come through our academy. And he's proving it in the furnace of the A-League on far, far earlier than he would have imagined after Alex Battolato's injury. And in a slightly unfamiliar position as well. In an undermanned side, he has been terrific, Will Dobson.
Talk about the forging in the A-League for Dobson. What about the fire here today, the conditions, the numerical mismatch, the fact that he's up against one of the best engine rooms in the competition. And you get the sense he doesn't mind it either. He revels in it. A man whose name I'm sure we'll continue to mention in the A-League. Hopefully for enough time for fans to enjoy him.
Christian Bracco takes the place of Lachlan Bayliss for the final 5 minutes of regulation time, plus what you'd have to imagine will be several added minutes. Newcastle right where they want to be at the moment. Down at the family zone end of Go Media. Appeals for a foul by Shaughnessy on Cosgrove, not given by Daniel Elder. And then it's launched forward by Delianoff, and a rare touch this half for Michael Vout. Dan Hall, so often the defensive cornerstone, looking now to drive his side forward. Girdwood right similarly. Involved in so many F3 derbies, Dan Hall, during his time at the Mariners against their fiercest rivals, the Newcastle Jets. Francois just about manages to hold on to possession. Howison, Bertolicio again. It's one of the great defensive performances in recent A-League history from the Newcastle Jets. Can Sakai reach that one? He goes down in the area under challenge from his countryman Mitsunuma, the two Japanese players who were exchanging pleasantries pre-game, coming together in the heat of battle there.
You've mentioned the fact that Newcastle have switched to a back five, and in my mind that's intended to deny Auckland the space that they had early in the second half. There's a space out wide. Just saw there a phase of play where Auckland could not find a half yard to deliver into the box to find the big targets in Bidwire and Cosgrove. The clearance is there, very lopsided, Piney.
50 to 8. Francois earns a corner. 7th corner of the contest for Auckland FC. This would be a very good time for the home side to find their first goal from a corner kick situation as we tick into the final 2 minutes of regulation time. Francois takes. He scored from a corner at that end last season. Cosgrove Hacked off the line by Mitsunuma. Back out with Francois. He'll recycle. It's a good delivery. Punched away by Delianov. De Vries. A couple on the far post. Is that going to fall for Cosgrove? Is it going to fall for Rogerson? Desperate defending by the Newcastle Jets, and they clear once more. Herculean defending by the visitors on New Year's Day. Francois across the 6-yard area this time. Netta goes to deck and puts it behind.
There is always a body, there's always something, a foot, desperation. It is all out there for everyone to see. The Newcastle Jets consensus, they're close now.
Another corner, again taken by Francois. Again whipped towards the far post and onto the roof of the net. The thumbs up from Delianov. Shaughnessy brings his team forward. The small pocket of Newcastle Jets fans with a fair sprinkling of Auckland FC shirts in there as well.
Well, far from bending or even buckling in the second half, it feels like Newcastle's grown stronger in their defending. Legitimate or otherwise, Pioneers, they concede another yellow card, but they are matching Auckland stride for stride at the moment.
Francois towards the far post. Cosgrove heads it back, stays down. I fancy that he might have collided with Delianov, and a head injury means that Daniel Auda will stop proceedings. We're going to have an extra 5 minutes minimum, and more probably to add for stoppages like this.
Well, heavy contact. James Delianov has been throwing himself at everything that's been launched into the box by Auckland. And this time he comes up in direct confrontation against Cosgrove. And it looks like he gets to the ball first with his right hand, but his left one collects Cosgrove. And is that a yellow card that Daniel Auda's holding in preparation to brandish?
Just wondering who is in receipt of it.
Well, Sam Cosgrove was a player in closest proximity to Daniel Auda. And we saw the yellow card flash from the pocket of the referee.
We'll just confirm that, because if it is Cosgrove, then he's going to miss the next game through yellow card accumulation. Bracco and Francois, two of the substitutes, chase after this one. Francois kept it in. Bracco stays down. Auckland will not put this out. So it's now 11 v 9 for the meantime. Sakai back into the area, hacked away by Grozos.
Well, this can't be another knee injury for the Newcastle Jets.
Into the 6-yard area. So no yellow card for an Auckland FC player. It was just Daniel Auda catching up and writing down Will Dobson's name after a flurry of activity. We've had 2.5 of the extra 5. Still the Jets defend. Still Auckland FC knock on the door. Hacked away by Mitsunuma. And now, finally, Christian Bracco can get some treatment.
You never like to see these. I feel like we've already seen one this afternoon as Alex Battalato had to go off early, but it's Christian Bracco. No one around him. He looked to turn and hit the deck immediately. The assessment being undertaken. by the Jets medical team.
Well, this is going to add even more time.
Well, here's the injury. It's a foot race. And Mully Francois, pace to burn. See that? Bracco, as he looks to retreat and get back alongside Francois, the left knee immediately held.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're out of subs.
And now it's 9.
It's 9. They've used their 5 substitutes. The Jets have 9 men and probably 3 or 4 minutes left to negotiate. De Vries. Urged to shoot, instead helps it in. It's up in the air and Cosgrove tries to keep it in. Goal kick, no corner. Daniel Elder at the first instance pointed for a goal kick, but instead another corner. A 9th for Auckland FC. High drama here. Michael Vouch has joined the party. Every single player, bar Marley Francois, is in the Jets penalty area. Francois puts the ball in there, and it defeats everybody. Dan Horgan has scurried to keep it in and does. And he's won another corner. So Michael Vouch, who was heading back to goal, turns on his heel and rejoins the attack. Remarkable game of football on New Year's Day, with still time to play. De Vries. Lachlan Rose at the near post, and now Rose is and Vouch out of his area. Mark Natter, if he can play Lucky Rose in. Can Rose get there? Lachlan Rose and the Newcastle Jets. A smash and grab on New Year's Day. The box office Jets take all 3 points, and their travelling fans celebrate. But it's offside.
This is going to be tight. The celebrations have been suspended. It was defended at the near post by Rose, and then just watch him go. It's beyond the 90. Oh, and the issue here is there's only one defender. There's no goalkeeper. So Auckland, because of the desperation, they didn't have the required numbers back. And unfortunate for Newcastle, they thought they were onside, but Auckland have been rescued by a technicality.
Yeah, normally the goalkeeper is the first and one other defender, but with Michael Vouch forward, now a yellow card dished out to the Jets bench. Will try and unpack who that was. Mark Milligan, I think, is the most obvious recipient.
Well, you can understand the emotion. Mark Milligan, more than happy to pick up the yellow card there. But just keep watching Jess Van Straten alongside Milligan. He is playing every ball. Every ball there's defence and every ball there's goalkeeper.
After factual review, there is no offside offence. The final decision is goal.
Well, there you go. Taken away, but given back to Lachlan Rose, who for the 4th time this season has scored a goal on New Zealand soil. And the Newcastle Jets have blown into town and outnumbered for a huge portion of this game, are going to take all 3 points.
Lucky Rose is behind Mark Natter there. The angle gives it away. This second half has been a loaded spring. The tension was always going to give way. The question was, to which team? The odds on it being in Newcastle's favour were so slim, but it's because of the commitment, the willingness, the running of the Jets, and Lockie Rose comes up with the rewards.
Yeah, so Lachlan Rose adjudged to be behind Mark Natter. If he's behind Natter, then offside cannot apply. He stayed just the right side of Natter. And the Newcastle Jets remarkably 3-1 ahead now. How much more time will there be? None is the answer. New Year's Day belongs to the Newcastle Jets, the 10-man Jets, and for a little while the 9-man Jets, the heroic Jets, the victorious Newcastle Jets. Twice now they've come to what has become a fortress and taken away 3 points on both occasions. For the first time ever, Auckland FC lose consecutive matches to the same opponent. 2026 begins with the squadron of fans jubilant, utterly jubilant. And Lachlan Rose, well, he scored goals at both ends of this game. And in between it all, players like Grozos and Dobson defended as if their lives depended on it. There's your final score. Auckland FC 1, the Newcastle Jets 3. Utterly, utterly remarkable. Alex Badolato out of the game so early and ice packed around his knee. Will Dobson into the game, and what an influence he had. Utterly astonishing. Desolation and disbelief among the Auckland FC players and their fans. Unable to comprehend how exactly they have come away with nothing on New Year's Day. The A-League delivers on January 1. It continues to be a league you simply cannot take your eyes off. Let's get your sideline where Ash Tulloch is alongside victorious Newcastle skipper Costa Grozos.
Costa Grozos, you've got a team behind you that has sprang water around, high fives, big hugs. Describe how this victory stands up against the last one for you.
Sort of lost for words, going down a man early, but, we never gave up. We always fought to the last minute. As you see, we keep going and we get that goal in the end. It's just cherry on top.
What are you most proud of from your squad today?
Just their resilience and their hard work and their effort. We've been talking about it all last week, after last week as well. So, yeah, I'm just glad that the boys could put on a good show.
A lot of teams come to this ground and they don't manage to succeed. What is it about your side? What is it that allows you to get it over Auckland when you come to Go Media?
We know we can just match it with the best, and whoever we play, that's what we try to do. It doesn't matter the opposition, we will always be there for their fight.
Just lastly, a quick one on Lockie Rose's goal there. What did you make of that?
I didn't even know what was going on. I started celebrating, stopped celebrating, started again, but I don't know, maybe I need to clear up on the rules again, but I'm not sure.
Costa, congratulations and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, Happy New Year.
We'll now talk to the captain of Auckland FC, Francis de Vries. These interviews are never fun when you go down, but you went down without a fight.
Yeah, frustrating when you play